Rock and roll.
Mr. Mayor, the meeting's yours.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Good evening, folks. Certainly good to see all of you, and welcome to the Benton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday, June 17th. If we could call the roll. I'm not sure who's doing that. Please.
Councilmember Lyles?
Here.
Councilmember McCarty?
Here.
Councilmember Stovall?
Here.
Vice Mayor Mullins?
Here.
Mayor Gross?
Here. Yes. Thank you. All right. Folks, here in the town of Benton, we use a moment of silence. This allows folks to pray or meditate as they see fit. So I'll ask you to stand for that in just a minute. If you do pray, and I plan to, I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and certainly this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. While we're standing, we'll also have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilmember Lyles is in charge of that.
Yeah, and I'm going to do it myself today.
How are you really?
Yeah.
All you gotta say is,
It's the 4th of July.
all you gotta say is, "I." We'll pick your rest of it up from
Yeah.
there.
If you'll stand, please.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Again, thank you folks for being here this evening. So I guess we need to move on to community events announcements. Councilmember McCarty.
Yes. September. Hold on. We don't want to go that fast, although it's going fast.
Yes.
June the 28th at 7 p.m. Maple at the Market with Carly Ray and the Eric Wayne Band. July the 4th at 8 a.m., the Boys and Girls Club 4 on the 4th run at the Benton War Memorial. Also on the 4th of July at 6 p.m., we have our 4th of July celebration at the War Memorial lawn with fireworks at 9:30 p.m. The town offices will be closed in observance of Independence Day on July the 4th. Then the next Mingle at the Market is July the 12th. That's Lolo Chariot and the Chris Keaton and the Millennials. July the 14th at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the American Red Cross Blood Drive will be held in the council chambers, which is here. We'd also encourage everyone to visit the many restaurants and entertainment venues in our community. And for more information, that can be found on each venue's website or social media. And for more information on everything going on in the town of Benton, please visit the In Benton Facebook page, and don't forget to like and share.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Lots of good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, you got a list of council activities, Vice Mayor?
Yes, sir, I do. Going back to June 5th, Mayor Gross attended the Regional Partnership Committee meeting. June 5th and 6th, Mayor Gross and Councilmember Stovall attended the Small Towns Conference. June 11th, Councilmember McCarty attended the Community Development Committee meeting. June 12th, Vice Mayor Mullins attended the RVTV Committee meeting. And this morning, Mayor Gross and myself and Councilmember McCarty attended the Walnut Avenue Enhancement ribbon cutting.
The exciting time this morning.
It was very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Oh, I wanted to also mention our friend isn't here today.
She's doing it. She put it in that card. She works in elections.
Oh, okay.
No, that's right.
About that.
Something about that.
I knew she was missing, and then with this whole side being empty,
Yeah.
just weird.
I think she's something about primary. She works in primary or something. like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess we'll have to try and make it through a meeting without her.
Yeah.
I wanted to note that she is missed.
Yeah, she is missed. And just
About the only cheerleader we got. That's what-
she is a nice lady. We appreciate her being here. That's for sure. All right. Well, okay. Request to postpone or change the order of the items listed on the agenda. Anything? Hearing none, we will move on then. Tonight, in the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the regular meeting on June 3rd. Are there any changes or additions? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, a second by Councilmember McCarty. Excuse me. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, shucks, no awards or presentations tonight. Oh, well, we'll just have to do business, I guess. The next item is citizens' comments and petitions. This section is reserved for any questions that are not listed on the agenda. Anyone? Nope. All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
We do have one person signed up.
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
speak. I apologize. Daniel McCulloch.
Okay, yeah, then,
And in the true spirit of the fill-in clerk, I'm going to have to run the 3 minutes on my phone. So I apologize for that, but
that's not a problem. Daniel's a regular. He knows how it works.
I know what I'm doing. So I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to come over tonight just to show an update on a project my son and I have been working on. So the last time I was at a meeting, I think I informed y'all that I hadn't driven since January. I was in Los Angeles helping with the wildfires over there, with the Eden and the Palisades fire. It was pretty rough. So when I came back, I was like, well, I'm going to do a little bit more for my community. I was like, I'm not going to drive. I'm just going to ride my bike and walk everywhere. So one thing we've been doing is just picking up metal, and I say metal, it's cans, things like that, because metal takes a long time to decompose. So, and everyone's ran over a nail, and it's very inconvenient. So, especially on a bike, it's not fun. So this box, we're going to fill it up, and I've reached out to VDOT and a few of the other municipalities, Roanoke City and Public Works. And so it's just a project we're going to work on, keep working on, try to get more done in the community.
Awesome.
And also, too, another thing that I had brought up was a pedestrian crossing for South Pollard. And Mr. McClung over here actually showed me that the plans for that.
Yeah.
So he said it's going to take a little bit of time, which I understand, So with all that being said, just appreciate y'all letting me speak. And
All right.
good. Thank
And
you.
where did you ask for that at? I'm sorry. That crosswalk,
Oh, South Pollard.
South Pollard.
Yes, sir. Up here, I live on South Pollard on the other side.
Okay.
So there was no convenient way to get to downtown Benton from my house.
Gotcha.
You either have to go fight 20 or Hardy
I
right
got you.
there,
I'm
or
with you
go
now.
up the way. So
I'm with you now. Okay.
all right, appreciate y'all.
So Nathan was able to fix you up.
Yes,
Thank you, and nice shirt.
Yeah. Go dogs.
Right.
Go dogs. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Always good to have you here, and your son too. It's a very nice project. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on to items requiring action, and tonight we want, I guess Jamie's going to talk about a resolution which would award a construction contract.
That's correct.
Sounds exciting.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of council, on April 28th, we advertised an invitation for bids for the construction of the Benton War Memorial Park. And on May 27th, the due date for bids, we received 2 bids. The first bid was from G&H Contracting with a bid of $884,730. And then the second bid was from K&A Contracting with a bid of $987,696. With that being said, tonight we have a resolution for your consideration to award a contract to the low bidder, G&H Contracting, at the recommendation of the town's engineer, Hughes and Associates Architects. Mike Woolwine is recommending that. If adopted, we'll get those contracts signed. The contractor spoke with him today. He'll mobilize that week after our 4th of July celebration. Kind of get that out of the way, and then he can get in there and start construction. When that time happens, we'll look at about a 15-week construction window. So that puts us about mid-October for completion of the park.
Okay.
You have any questions?
Sounds exciting to me.
It is. We got a lot of exciting things going on.
So it sounds like he's ready to go, too.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Council, any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move that we award the contract for the playground for G&H Contracting Incorporated.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? Nope. Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Stovall, second by Vice Mayor Mullins. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles.
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty.
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mullins.
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. All right, thank you. Thank you, Jamie.
Yay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we'll move on to our public hearing for tonight. And this is considering a proposal to amend the Town of Benton's 2024-2025 budget for a whole bunch of stuff that Cody's going to describe. So with that, I will officially open the public hearing, and we'll start with a report from the staff and then take in public comments. So, Cody?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, and with your permission, I'll do it from sitting over here since I need my third arm. So tonight, bringing before you a resolution to transfer and appropriate some additional appropriations in the current fiscal year. So this is something that we normally do in June as a cleanup resolution for the current fiscal year. And the reason that we do this is, one is either to sort of clean up some expenditure lines that may have gone over the course of the year, adding projects on, extra expenditures, nothing out of the ordinary per se, but just routine business where lines have gone over. We also like to go ahead and appropriate any anticipated surplus revenues ahead of the end of the fiscal year so that those don't just necessarily hit fund balance, but can be used to cover some of those overages or other one-time projects that we've identified. And then, of course, as always, we hold the possibility, as will be the case tonight, of funding for new priority projects that we would like to go ahead and get started. So looking at that, of course, the largest of that is Mr. Hertz park project of the resolution that y'all just passed. The total amount across the two funds, general and capital fund, is approximately $1.7 million. I would note that that is slightly inflated for accounting purposes because a transfer between the funds of $380,000 has to be double counted as a revenue. So the quote-unquote new money in this resolution tonight is approximately $1.32 million. So that is made up of roughly $620,000 of surplus revenues that we've identified from year-over-year budget. Those revenues are the parimutuel tax, the prepared food tax or meals tax, cigarette tax, a little bit of extra money from the state for the HB 599 funding with the police, and then there was a donation from the Moose Lodge that came in for the police department that we need to appropriate. The balance of that money is coming from interest on investments in the capital fund, which continue to run really well. Even after using some of those interest earnings earlier in the year, we continue to do well with the high rate environment that we're in. And then the balance of the 1.3 comes from fund balance identified for a one-time project and prioritized by council. So that's where the revenues are coming from tonight. We typically budget fairly conservatively on the revenues, so we expect this, but like a lot of our consumer-based revenues have been running fairly hot for the year. And Mr. Keene, who's not here tonight, would have me be remiss if I didn't mention that cigarette tax, which is his favorite source of income, for whatever reason, was declining in recent years and has greatly increased in recent years as a result of various activities. So that's on the revenue side of the house. If you will note, you have a revised budget transfers and appropriations sheet at your desk, which this is the one that we would be asking to adopt. Just running through at a high level the expenditures of note on here. I'll actually start at the bottom because that's where the two largest ones are. One is $1 million for the multi-generational park for the contract that you all just approved awarding for Mr. Mr. Hurt. This fully funds the build out of the park in sort of one fell swoop. That was identified as a priority of council numerous times throughout the year. So this is something that we're bringing forth to you. And like I said, mostly being funded by use of fund balance at one-time money, but also being covered by some of those surplus revenues. We also have HVAC improvements to this building, and then that we were given an option from Mr. Hurt to sort of do a Band-Aid fix or a comprehensive fix, and we chose the comprehensive fix, and so adding some additional money to that as well, rounding it out. In the general fund, if you move up to the top, the ones of note, and you will see that I marked the changes from what was published in the agenda package to the revised version. We've been very successful with some economic development projects and economic development activity over the year, and Mr. Peters and Ms. Loop have spent some money to help move that along. So we're going to fill out that account and help them along, get to the end of the fiscal year. We have some new computers and electronic equipment in Public Works. We have some salary lines that need to be filled out that weren't able to be covered by vacancy savings over the year. This is for the PTO buyback or being able to hire new employees at a faster pace than what we've typically been able to do, which is a good thing to get people on board quicker. And then lastly, when talking about that donation from the Moose Lodge gave a $10,000 donation to the police department this year for an identified need that the police department had, and that was for a UTV vehicle that could be used at special events or on the greenways or in other areas where larger police vehicles just may find it harder to get to. And so what we were able to do is, using that $10,000 plus some additional money from the town, we're going to be able to buy the vehicle, outfit it with lights, wrap it in some way. Deputy Chief Lawless is taking suggestions, and also buy a trailer for it for easy transport. So it really is a good community partnership project, and this cleans up the money for that. So that hits all of the highlights. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And then I would note, when adopting the resolution, that the motion specifically include the revised budget transfer list that was provided tonight.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you, sir. It's a great presentation. Council, I'll give you an opportunity in just a second, but I just wanted to ask if there were any public comments. No. Okay. Council, your opportunity if you have any comments or questions for Cody. I got just one or two. Number one, first of all, a big thank you to the Moose Lodge, and hopefully we can do something a little more appropriate or full.
Yeah, we're trying to get that lined up, maybe for the next meeting, or with, I guess, we're not having the next meeting, but I guess the second meeting in July.
Okay.
Try to get them here.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate.
It is anticipated that the vehicle will be at the 4th of July celebration.
Oh,
so
very nice.
we're moving fairly quickly to go ahead and make that purchase. It might not be wrapped by then, but it should be on site by that. At the very least, it'll be here by National Night Out in August.
Oh, great.
nice.
Yeah, very nice. That's certainly a generous gift. So we, as you said, Mike, whenever you can arrange that, that would be great. And of course, the lion's share, as you mentioned, Cody, of this is for the war memorial, but obviously cleaning up a lot of other stuff. And I'm just so thankful that we have the money on hand that we can do that. So we've really been blessed. So yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else, Council, you want to say? No?
Good job, Cody. Thank you. Good job. Thank you all.
What was that?
I said good job, Cody. You did a good job.
And Mr. Mayor, I would just say you need to formally close the public hearing.
Exactly. That's what we'll do next. We'll formally close the public hearing. And Council, you have before you the resolution which would approve the revised list of budget amendments.
I'll make a motion to adopt the revised.
Thank you. All right.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember McCarty and a second by Councilmember Laws. Any further discussion? No? If not, please call the roll.
Real quick, was that Keith? Was that
Yeah, a second.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mullins?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. Okay. Sorry, Keith, I just didn't hear what you were doing there, man. All right, with that, we'll move on to the reports from the committees. Nathan, it looks like you're the one and only tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council.
Good to see you.
See you too. I have the Community Development Committee report from the June 11th meeting. So just going through the items of discussion. If you have any questions on any of the items, just feel free to ask during. But for Econ Dev projects, we covered Gish Mill. That project's moving from the stabilization phase to the actual finished build-out package this summer. We talked about the hotel project and the site plans and subdivision plats being close to being approved, and then a quick update on the scheduling in terms of being able to move forward with the demolition of the former dry cleaners and the actual build out of that property. We talked about the downtown fire block properties. Unfortunately, we didn't obtain that regional or statewide competitive grant, so there's going to be more planning for what to do with those properties downtown. We discussed the McClung Building RFP, which is out in the streets in terms of the leasing of the McClung property on Walnut Avenue, adjacent to the town event parking lot. And we also discussed the Railroad Bridge Gateway Mural Project, which was spurred by the comp plan. And Jill Loop has been working with the railroad to see if we can first get permission to even put something on the bridge, and then discussing what that would look like logistically for the town to actually implement some form of a mural on one of our gateways, whether it be West Virginia Avenue or Walnut Avenue. Jamie covered the multi-generational community park update in terms of the selecting of the contractor, which we did tonight, and also the War Memorial renovations update. That was a more creative exercise. I got to see the layout or conceptual layouts for what the inside the building will look like, and also an idea of what the schedule will look like for the renovation of the War Memorial building. In terms of special events, Mandy covered the VBR Restaurant Week recaps. The event had 7 businesses participate in the VBR Restaurant Week. It was a big success for many of the businesses that participated. This morning we had the Walnut Avenue corridor engagement ribbon cutting at the Glade Creek Greenway, but it covered the Glade Creek Greenway 2B and Phase 1 and the Walnut project and Phase 2 of Walnut. And then we've covered the July 4th events tonight as well. In terms of transportation updates, we talked about the paving plan for the next fiscal year. Cody covered how most of the town, how we've been cycling through paving different neighborhoods. We're reaching a point where almost all the neighborhoods have been repaved. If you look back 5 or 6 years, the major arterials are going to be a major focus over the next few years in terms of what would need to be milled and overlaid. We also discussed 3rd Street, doing the geotechnical reports to 3rd Street, former landfill road, and looking at the subgrade and what would take. This is a very early analysis for what is the subgrade, what is underneath the road, similar to what we did on Mountain View Road before we did the FDR project. And then the Wolf Creek restroom facilities update, which is a larger part of the Greenway amenity. We're still waiting on the environmental reviews and approval for that. But once we get that, we'll be able to move forward quickly with that project. We discussed the public works demolition projects that are currently ongoing and will be ongoing throughout the town. So adjacent to the municipal building, another property that we had an RFP on, demolishing the concrete and restoring it with new topsoil. And just to make the property more aesthetically pleasing, and also I think it would help with the aesthetics, but also just removing that concrete pad that's no longer of use. And then also with the acquisition of a floodplain property, that'll be happening in a few weeks. Once we get the demo permit secured, our public works team will also be demolishing that house as a part of a floodplain acquisition project.
Oh, cool.
And then finally, we discussed leadership training and reorganization details that are occurring within the town structure. And the town leadership team will be undergoing internal assessments and assessments of leadership, and that's going to be taking place now through December. And so that covered most of our meetings. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Nathan. Man, you guys have been busy.
It was a wonderful meeting. And they had stuff covered up in the back under a sheet. We didn't get to see it till the end. Pete, you were right. I didn't need to see it until the end because I had a lot of questions. But it was a great meeting. Thank you.
Hey, I owe you an apology. I did receive your invite and I failed to look at that invite, so it's strictly my fault. No,
No worries at all.
it sounds like I wish I would have been there, but it's my fault. I should have looked. So,
No worries. You still have a chance to talk about the colors of the building, and
Let me ask you,
I'll check the minutes out and look and see what colors they are.
Mountain View. Did you mention something about Mountain View Road when you were talking?
He said the
yes,
boring samples like they did for Mountain View.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yeah. The geotech. We did that really early on, and it helped us figure out what the road needs, because you can't plan effectively or budget effectively for what to do to Third Street until we know what the subgrade looks like.
So he'll bring that, I guess that's really the Public Works Committee is where that, yeah, I was looking, I mean, naturally, I don't know anything. I'm a lay person when it comes to asphalt, but I did notice, my mailbox sits at the end of my driveway, but the actual crack part is like up to the end of my flower bed where my mulch is. And I did notice a crack, but the crack was kind of parallel, it seemed, up into the asphalt. So I don't know. And have you seen it?
I have not. No,
You
sir.
need to. Go up there and look. When you go up there tomorrow, go up there and look at it. It's right there. It's right above my mailbox. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've mentioned it
I
several
mean, it's
times.
breaking away. I mean, it's truly breaking. I mean, it's the new pavement's breaking away. And like I said, I don't know anything about, but I did do a little research on it. And if you got a vertical, it's like that happens. But the parallel crack is supposed to be more, quote unquote, I guess, more severe than a vertical crack. I mean, I don't know. I'm late to the process. So anyway.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the street as well.
Right, it's across the street. Yeah, no, it's across the street from my house. It's not on my house side, it's across the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's
All right.
across the street.
Yeah, I've mentioned that several times. Several times.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, thanks.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to the town attorney. Mike, good to see you. I'm sure you got a whole list of items for tonight, don't you?
Actually, surprisingly enough, I do. I think probably, Blaze, you probably know most of the things that are going on. Obviously, Mr. Carroll sends his regrets from Tanzania that he couldn't be here.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Oh,
I did want to highlight a couple of projects that are coming out of the town attorney's office primarily. The first of which is updates to our subdivision and site plan ordinances. There were two major statutes passed this year by the General Assembly that are changing how that happens. And you'll hear more about those in the not too distant future. I don't think that they won't make a big difference in terms of the day-to-day stuff that you guys ever see, but as far as they're processed internally, there are some differences. The other thing that is coming up is that the transient occupancy tax ordinance needs to be updated. Again, this is a mandate from the General Assembly. It's something that Andrew will probably care about slightly, but probably no one else will. And there are also probably in the more distant future updates to Chapter 94, which is utilities of the town code, in order to account for the fact that we no longer run our own water system. As well as I did want to let you know that we are currently waiting on a couple of subdivision plats in order to finally complete the transfer of the water system to the Western Virginia Water Authority. So I know that that's been something that's been hanging out there as we tried to inventory all of the property and split it off and deal with VDOT on permitting issues and everything. But I did want to give you hopefully the welcome news that it looks as though it's actually going to happen soon and we're actually going to sign a deed.
yeah, you did have a lot. I was just kidding.
You know, when Mike shows up, there's gonna be something happening.
Very good, Mike. Thank you for all that information.
Thank you, Mayor.
I guess I'll take this opportunity to mention we got to spend some time with Mike at the Small Towns Conference. And by the way, you did a great job with your presentation. And I appreciate those types of meetings. There's always a lot of good information presented as you did, but the networking at those things is always really, really valuable. So I encourage all of our council members to attend those types of things. It's very valuable. But yeah, good job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Major, I'm afraid to say I don't about your list, so you may.
We've covered most of it. I just got a couple additional mentions of some of the things we've talked about. One, the park, we're anxious to get that started. The contract approving that tonight, the appropriating the funds to do so, we should be able to get that underway very shortly after the July 4th celebration.
Great.
And as council's directed, trying to get that done in one fell swoop. So appreciate your support there. We're looking forward to getting that done. Did have an opportunity to meet with the development company actually constructing the hotel today. They had a meeting with Roanoke County for their site plan approval, but we had a nice lunch today, very eager to get going. This gentleman is actually based out of Florida, but I also met his state superintendent who runs the 4 projects that he's currently overseeing in the state of Virginia. So they're really excited to get going. They laid out some plans on how they will prepare the site initially with some perimeter fencing and visibility screening, mostly to secure the site for not necessarily folks desiring to come on the property. They're going to get on the property if they want, but it's accidental, kind of just inquisitive kind of thing. So they're going to secure the site, and that'll take place first. You'll see some silk fencing. It's very possible that you could see that site being mobilized as early as next week.
Wow.
So we're really on the cusp of things moving. Cool. You'll see some demolition activities that'll happen once they arrive on site. It's going to move quick.
Let me know.
For the road and for the dry cleaner. We will be preparing a groundbreaking ceremony that will probably happen several weeks, if not a month, after the actual mobilization occurs. So ESA, who's the hotel franchise, actually provides that service for all of their franchisees, and so they will be coordinating with our staff to plan that activity. And like I said, there'll be some activity on the site, but we will do a formal groundbreaking ceremony as well as a ribbon cutting later in the process. I could go on all day, all the excitement about this and what we heard today from the contractors, but it's very, very close.
Good.
I also wanted to acknowledge some staff, one of which is here, Jamie, for the work that went into the ribbon cutting this morning. Jamie and Mandy and Anita primarily, but a lot of staff contributed to that ribbon cutting. Great attendance from the general public and from VDOT. So thank you, and thank you to the teammates who helped pull that off. I think it showed well for the town, so appreciate that. And some substantial projects that we've completed. We talked about a lot tonight, the future projects that we're working on, but it's sometimes easy to forget kind of the accomplishments and the staff time that goes into the work that's been done. And some of those have been staggered when they finished, and but we kind of packaged all of them up and rolled them into one acknowledgement today. So appreciate all the effort for today, but all the effort that went into making them a reality over the last couple of years, and in some cases the last decade. It takes a long time to get some of these things through, and there's a million details that are involved in that. I know it's been said before, but our staff really, I think, punches above their weight quite often, so appreciate their efforts. Talking about future activities of July 4th, we're going to have a very busy day in the town as normal for July 4th. It'll kick off that morning with the Boys and Girls Club on the 4th race, and then we'll conclude that afternoon with both the downtown celebration at 107 and Pokey Joe's.
but our traditional 4th of July event at the War Memorial, and that will kick off at 6 o'clock. So, so a big day of activities ahead of us.
Yes.
And just one note on the borings for 3rd Street. This is a similar process that we took with Mountain View to determine what the substructure actually consisted of. For most of you on council know, but for anybody who is interested in the public, that road originally served as an access to the landfill, the town's landfill, and so that road is very likely to have debris in it. It was not probably built to sustain the amount of traffic, and certainly not the weight of the traffic that has been introduced to that road the last several decades. It held up for a long time, but at some point, obviously, you've seen it started to fail in some way, shape, or form. So we continue to monitor it, to the point that we felt like we would have to close the road if it becomes unsafe. But the borings they're supposed to be completed by the 25th of this month. That will take a fairly quick turnaround once we get the borings done to do the initial analyzing of what the substructure looks like, and then we'll have to get some expert opinion on how we correct that. It could be a Pinto, it could be a Cadillac. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to have to buy, but
Cadillac.
Okay.
we'll soon find out. Anyways, got a lot of activity going on, and I think we've covered a lot tonight in a fairly short time frame. But
You have.
If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm good.
Good deal. Council, you have any questions for the town manager this evening?
Well, 3rd Street, back in the day, that was a gravel road that went up to the landfill. You're talking about weight, how they got the trash truck up that gravel driveway and back down like every day, 4 or 5 times a day. Well, I don't know how many times they did it, but there's a lot of trash up there. So you'd think an asphalt road would hold up better than a gravel road, but I think they built it a lot. Public Works kept it built all the time. But
Yeah, and we have the Atlantic company up there with their fire trucks, and we have delivery trucks up there now, and that consistent weight over the years have eventually caught up to us. So hopefully a couple of borings will actually take place in those depressions, pre and post those depressions, but actually in those areas that are started to show some caving. We'll know soon enough, but we continually monitor it, and
hey, once you learn to drive it, it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Pete, guess what? It goes all the way to our house.
yeah, I don't take that road though.
Oh, you don't?
You don't have to drive that way.
I never drive
You
that.
don't have to drive that way. He told you that 3 times. You don't drive that way.
Inside joke. Oh, goodness. So council, you folks have anything for Councilman Lyles?
No, looking forward, like Pete said, that, the town really comes alive. Well, the town's alive anyway, but it really comes alive on the 4th of July. So I can't wait for that. And just trying to get through summer.
You bet. You bet. That's exactly right. Sabrina, you have anything for
It's
us?
just been an exciting day from this morning until now.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on. We got a good group of people, great group of people. And I'm just happy to be a part of it.
You bet. Me too. Me too. Ma'am, Vice Mayor?
Kudos to all the hard work that went into not only the projects that made today, but the actual presentation, and it was super nice. It looked like it just popped up out of nowhere when I know there was a lot of work behind there. It looked really nice. Thank y'all.
Yeah, you bet. Mike, you have anything for us?
Yeah. I guess the groundbreaking on the hotels when we're going to start collecting bets. At least some of us might. When you heard people say you'll never build a hotel in this town. So anyway, let me say about the Small Towns Conference, and y'all need to between now and next year pay close attention because I'm going to give you a little history. A couple things I learned. I didn't know there was a Scottsville town, and I didn't know there was a Remington town. Remington is smaller than Scottsville. Took note to Remington because I'm a hunter and Remington makes a great firearm. However, next year you're going to want to attend because we are going to Chincoteague. Now you might have to help me out with a couple of names. So Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Department is known for the horses. Every year, the last week of July, they go over to Arbor. Is that what he said? They go across the water to Arbor and bring 15 colts back, along with the rest of the mayor. Blah blah blah. They're only allowed by the federal government to bring 15 colts back, and they auction those colts off in Chincoteague. The Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Department is the richest volunteer fire department west of Las Vegas. Their gross revenue is $500,000 a year.
Wow.
Remember that guy? Remember the mayor standing right there telling us that they gross $500,000. Of course, my question is they must pay the people to volunteer to be a Chincoteague volunteer fireman. Yeah. So anyway, he stood up and said, got some great news, and then we saw him out in the hallway, and he gave us that. So so I mean, naturally the horses won't be there because we won't be there during that time. Which I don't think we will unless they move it. However, he said 40 to 50,000 people come to Chincoteague every year.
Yeah, and those horses swim across the.
They go get them. Remember, he said they go. Remember, didn't he say? He said the volunteer fire department goes over and gets them and brings the colts and them back, and then the federal government won't allow them to auction off but 15 of them. I guess that's helped maintain the population. But yeah. So anyway, and then on a personal note, if y'all would, my daughter-in-law was 32 weeks with the twins.
Oh,
so, it's kind of a touch and go time, but we're in there every day and keeping eyes on everything. So anyway,
what's her name, Mike?
Brittany.
Okay.
She's having a boy and a girl.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Better get out the old ball glove.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you, folks. I got just one or two things. I won't belabor because it's been touched on, but this morning was great. It was a lot of fun. So thank you, staff, everyone who was involved. And I know things like that don't just happen like Mike said. It was really neat, and I'm sure basically the entire staff was involved. And I guess that's part of being in a small town. And I thought it was quite representative of the entire project. We had a few, I don't know if you'd call them interruptions, but the train goes by and the balloons burst and stuff like that. But it was just, it's kind of symbolic for the whole project. Actually, things just kept happening, but our staff has been persistent over the years, or like you said, decade, and has worked hard, so congratulations. I agree with Mike's Small Town Conference was great, and I'd highly recommend it. Just as a reminder to council, VML is actually going to be in Roanoke this year. And that's the good news. The bad news, I think, it's going to be on Dogwood weekend. I'm not sure. Is that right?
It's in October.
It's in October.
I mean, Fall Festival. I'm sorry. I said Dogwood.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, we may have to work around that. So.
And we're hosting Friday night or Saturday night?
Monday night social.
Monday night social, right.
They will be busing participants from the VMO conference from the hotel over to Benton, and we will host. There's annually a social as a part of that, and we'll host that in downtown Benton.
And Mr. Mayor, your part starts on Saturday. Mayor's part concludes on Sunday, and the actual VML conference actually starts on Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
It goes Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Yep, that's my understanding. You're exactly right. And your part will be the solo to sing when they greet them, right?
Yeah, I'm warming up as we speak, bro.
Yeah, okay. I hear that. Really excited about the park. I think that's great. And not to put you guys on the spot, but speaking of conferences and accomplishments in our town being recognized by their peers, you guys are going to make a presentation this week, is that right?
Cody,
like I say, not to put you on the spot.
We're serving on a panel of town
town and city managers and their deputies. And so Cody and I were asked to participate in one of 3 localities in the state about code leadership and kind of the support role that we play with each other and how we manage. So it was quite the honor. And Cody's going to be much more comfortable up on stage than myself, but we'll get through it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I think that's quite an honor, I would say. Yeah. So
Being in the state, that's good.
yeah, proud of you guys. Way to go. Great. All right, that's all I had. Anything further come before council tonight? If not, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Motion,
second.
all in favor signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless you.